Other news we're following: Ferry County Sheriff reaffirming the City of Republic's stance on the employment of the now former police chief Loren Culp. The city defunded the police department on Friday, leaving Culp without a job. He had been on leave of absence during his unsuccessful run for governor. The sheriff, like the city's mayor, says Culp can apply for a job with his department if he chooses. Well, the losing streak continues for Republicans hoping to gain control of the governor's office in Olympia. Democrats appear to be strengthening their majorities in the House and the Senate as well. King 5's Drew Mickelson asked the Republican chair why the GOP is struggling in our state. Drew.
Well, Joyce, the Republican Party chair said there were some wins that they're celebrating this week, but he blamed some of the losses in some of those bigger races on the fact that he says Republican candidates in this state just don't do very well in presidential election years. But the chair of the Democratic Party says it's clear. Republicans, they just got beat.
This is not only a huge honor.
Governor Jay Inslee was declared the winner again, just moments after ballots were due Tuesday, extending the streak of Democrats holding that office, one that dates back to the 1980s.
There's a lot of people left to count.
Inslee's opponent, Loren Culp, refuses to concede despite hovering at about 40% of the vote. The results were about the same for the failed referendum on mandatory sex education in schools, an issue heavily supported by Republicans. Are the two big losses a sign?
What do you say to that? Is the GOP dead in the state of Washington?
No, definitively not. We're very much alive.
State Republican Party Chair Caleb Heimlich points to the re-election of Republican Secretary of State Kim Wyman and Pierce County Executive Bruce Dammeier, along with some flipped state Senate and House races.
But this was not a landslide for Democrats. At best, they're going to gain 1 or 2 seats in the legislature. That is anything but a landslide in their favor. They don't have supermajorities. They don't have the overwhelming ability to push through a radical agenda.
There was that goal to perhaps crush the Republican Party, and that did not happen this year.
Well, I think we came pretty darn close to crushing the Republican Party.
Prior to the election, the state's Democratic Party sent out a fundraising email with a goal that, quote, 2020 will be the year the Republican Party came to an end. Well, that's not happening. The state's first black senator in a decade, Democrat Tawana Nobles, appears to have ousted veteran Republican Steve O'Bannon. And Republican Treasurer Dwayne Davidson got beat by Democrat Mike Pelliciotti.
So that gives Democrats an opportunity to get a lot of work done. I think Governor Inslee definitely has a mandate with 60% of the vote in terms of the work that he's trying to do here in Washington state.
State lawmakers met today online to talk about some of the logistics of getting back to work here at the Capitol when the next session is scheduled to start in January. At this point, it looks like the Senate will operate on some sort of a hybrid model with maybe half of the members here in person, the other half at home. The House is looking at a mostly online system. Live in Olympia, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.